Guys, we are live. So
Yay.
today we have a pretty interesting topic for you. But before that, I gotta introduce myself. My name's Alex.
And May.
And I'm Marco.
I always forget to introduce myself before I jump in. So anyway, I think I saved that pretty well. This is going to be a short session, but we are here to talk about the next step in the Armageddon, which is the financial Armageddon, which is UBS, right? And also Credit Suisse. And I'm going to hand the soapbox over to Marco.
Yeah, because I would like to talk the really boring part at the very beginning. But anyway, so I think in case if people doesn't know what happened, let's rewind. I think first we talk about Silvergate being a trouble bank. People, the bank was in trouble and then went under. And then later on, it was like Silicon Valley Bank, and then there was Signature Bank, and also went under. And now we are at the juncture, like while we were talking about how this is contagious, and next thing happened was a Credit Suisse that had this bank run where people just kind of rush to the bank and get deposit. And that was, from my understanding, right, it was kind of being triggered by a news from Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia, it's a 9.9% owner, or was the 9.9% owner of Credit Suisse. And what happened was, Credit Suisse, they had a news interview, and it was asked, like, would you invest even more money into Credit Suisse? And Saudi Arabia government was kindly declined the fact that they cannot invest any more money into Credit Suisse because there's a regulation within the Swiss bank law where no outside investor can own more than 10% of a Switzerland bank. So they were just basically saying the facts, right? But it was being twisted by the media or by the public to think that Saudi Arabia doesn't have confidence in Credit Suisse. And Credit Suisse was always have these kind of trouble news, right, throughout the last 4 or 5 years, like scandals and stuff. I'm not going to go into the details. So you couple with all of that, the general public was like, oh my gosh, this bank is failing too. So they ran to get their money. And like all banks, when the deposit went way down and their liquidity has problem, the bank was in trouble. So as a result, the Swiss government forced the largest bank, UBS, to buy Credit Suisse. So right now, I guess Credit Suisse is going to become part of UBS for only $3 billion US. Anyway, it's a crazy situation. I think it's not the end of it. I suppose like we will see more banks in trouble or more financial institution in trouble. May, what do you think?
You're muted, May.
You're muted.
Sorry, so you keep seeing my mouth moving without voice coming out. So I think this is crazy. I think the world has been highly leveraged for a while. When I say for a while, I'm talking about decades. So you're looking at, banking, when you talk about Basel II, Basel III, it's 1-digit reserve. So you're not going over 8% even now. So you're looking at the leveraging from the bank onwards, like from the very closest source to the money all the way to the corporate. And then you start to see, leverage is a time bomb. If you're in the financial sector, if you leverage and you don't have enough productivity, which you want, look, you look at the stock market, you look at everything, you look at 3%, 5%, 10%, 20% is like a godsend, right? But you leverage way more than that. All the time, all the way. And so I think the problem coming to the bank, the confidence of the bank, it's going to be questioned, it's going to be asked. I'm from the crypto world, and people say all the bad things about crypto world, but I don't think crypto world is much different from the real sector. I think people behave the same. They're the same set of humans, same set of minds that operating this. It's just like faster speed. And when you see the trust crumbles, doubts start to step in, and you start to see everything falling apart. And of course, the difference between crypto world and the regulated world is the regulations, and people just like lend a hand. You have Fed, you have everything to slow things down or make things worse in the future. It depends on how you're looking at this, but now you're starting to see doubts creeping in, and then when doubt spreads, I think you're starting to see the time bomb triggers, while central banks and regulators trying to patch all the holes. So you start to see this racing between negativity and doubt and all of the things, and the attempt of trying to fix things. And in this world, been decades that these attempts from the regulators has been useful, and it's been okay for a while, but some people, I think, have illusion of possibilities, illusions of success, that if it's been done for a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, then the fourth decade it's going to be okay. But you
But
starting to
I think also like part of my kind of feeling about this is that like media, it's playing a really big role here, right? If you think about it, Silicon Valley Bank was triggered by a post by Peter Thiel saying that, announcing to the whole world how Silicon Valley Bank has lost a lot of value in their U.S. Treasury bond investment. And this time it was being triggered by a news interview with the Saudi Arabia, with the 9.9% shareholder, which cannot go up to 10. They just saying the fact, right? But it was being like interpreted as they have no confidence in Credit Suisse, and that triggered the whole bank fell, and that's crazy. Yeah.
And confidence is the key when we talk about the financial sector. You're looking at FTX. FTX has a big leverage, and FTX has done all the wrong things in the world. But if the trust was there, if CISA didn't do it, will prolong for a while.
Yeah,
And so this is a trusting game.
If FTX didn't have a bank run, then it would still be functioning right now.
Yeah, sure.
But Alex, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So what do I think? I think this is what I think. People will try to find another way. I mean, people need to find a way to have something to rely on all the time. So
Yeah,
they're going to rely. The mind jumps, relying from one thing to another. So I think they will try to find new system. You will have another Messiah. Before it was God, right? Before it was Fed, and then now you're looking, but it's going to be split. So you start to see people have split system. Maybe people believe in more decentralized. Maybe people believe in different camp. Maybe they don't like US dollars anymore. Maybe they don't like petrodollar or the customs anymore. So I think you will start to see the introductions of the monetary system, and that these introductions will come then maybe not this year, but in a couple of years you will see serious introduction of new monetary system, and people will shift.
Yeah. And I think I hate to say this, but I think it would take a few more disaster for people to like really take this seriously. I think now, I can say from my point of view that I just went to a bank in Shenzhen today. I was asking myself, hey, should I be worried? And I was like, no, nothing to be worried. I mean, I think the financial system is pretty healthy here. But I mean, I think a couple more of these kind of disaster will really get me thinking about like maybe I should really think about transferring some of my money out of the bank, or at
Yeah,
least spread it, or at least like spread it to multiple banks, which will increase my overhead of managing my money.
And
anyway,
I think to this point, people should diversify. Surely, you should have a little bit of different asset classes, including Bitcoin. I'm not emphasizing on other cryptocurrencies just yet, because Bitcoin is purposefully come to act like money, more than a software, more than a computer.
I'm so in agreement with you.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
love
so I think
Bitcoin is the only DeFi, but of course, like you don't have to agree with that.
well, the thing is, when we have time, I'm gonna talk to you about how much in DeFi space that Bitcoin can do, and how much our software can facilitate DeFi in the way that while developing this program, I asked myself, why on earth I want fiat? So now I do, and now I do. I mean, if you give me fiat, I gladly accept it. But from the theoretical point of view, like, why on earth I want fiat?
Anyways, we want to keep this short. I think Alex and I and May included, we're very busy this week. But
Okay.
yeah, I think this episode, it's important because it is a very monumental news to us in this, in terms of the sequence of these bank failing. We will
Yeah,
see. See.
we'll see.
Yeah.
This year is going to be juicy year. It's going to be juicy, interesting year.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we gonna keep our audience posted, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep tab on the news.
Cool.
Okay.
Alex, you have
So
anything to add or?
No, not today. Like, no, I've way too much to say about this stuff. So I'll save it for another time when I really could wrap my brain around this whole crisis. But yeah.
yeah.
Okay, great. So we behaved really well today. It's at 12-minute mark, but we're gonna sign off today. And so thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alex again.
And May.
And Marco. See you next week.
See you next week.
Okay. Bye bye.